Today I'll be breaking down this scene from Lil Mabu's XXL Diss music video. Let's get into it. These are the two scenes that we'll be recreating. This over here that he had a green screen on and the text is moving around, and then we'll also recreate this scene with a 3D camera and stuff. To start this off, you'll need a good selection of the subject, so it can be either on a green screen, blue screen, or you can also rotoscope it. From the original video, it looks like a mix of both. The clip that I'll be using will be a roto of DDG, and then right behind it, make sure you have a gray solid, something that's light gray, not necessarily white, and then combine that with the rest of the details that were on the video. In this case, these are the texts that I was able to come up with. Next, you need to add a drop shadow on these two texts over here. So I'll go inside this pre-comp, get a drop shadow, increase the distance just a little bit, and then increase the softness so that it's not too much. And then I'll copy this drop shadow to the DDG text. I'll also add a drop shadow on DDG, put this on this layer, reduce the opacity a ton so that it's not so conspicuous, change the direction, distance at 8 and softness at around 40. So if I'm to show the shadow only, this is what it will be. And now we have the basic framework for this. Next, we need to add a bit of motion, so add sapphire shake. Let's add it on the XXS text. We need to adjust these settings because right now it's just jumping all over. Reduce the amplitude up to 0.1 ish and do the same for the frequency. I'll bring it at around 2. This will give it a gradual shake around this area. We can still adjust this further. Go to the X shake and Y shake, reduce the X random frequency for both of the X and Y up to around 0.2. So now it just moves very minimally here. Now I'll copy the same effect on the DDG text so that now they just move around uniformly like this. We need to offset these movements so that it's not similar for both of them. So find the phase setting, take the phase to about 0.5. This will help to remove this uniformity. Copy this sapphire shake to the irrelevant text. And now we have a basic framework for everything. We can further add some movement on this XXS by hitting R, then hold Alt and click on the stopwatch for rotation. Add wiggle. I'll put 2 and 2. So it will just make it shake around that x-axis. And I'll do the same thing for this text over here. And as we saw on the video itself, you can put this text behind the subject by simply dragging it below that layer so that DDG is right in front of the XXS. We can also have this irrelevant behind him, and this is as easy as it gets. You can always move this subject by hitting P or S, and I think it looks pretty realistic. I'll now go on to the advanced version of this, which utilizes the 3D cameras. Real quick before you go on, don't forget to check out my website at dannyjames.co. I have preset packs and LUTs that should level up your visuals and save you more time during editing. I'll put my text right above my gray solid. I will also lock this gray solid so I don't have to touch it. Create a new camera. You can use the default settings. For this to work, we need to turn the other layers into 3D, so make sure you toggle between switches and modes and enable 3D for the other layers except for the background. Click here to get 2 views. So this will give us an accurate representation of where our elements are. If I hit P on this layer with the artist, I can shift the Z value to take him further behind. I leave him somewhere around here. Do the same for this XXS, drag it somewhere about here. I'll make sure it has the same value as these other texts for the DDG. So I'll hit P, put 349 here. For the irrelevant text, you can push it such that it's further behind these two. I think we can push DDG a bit further. We will adjust this, don't worry about it. Go back to the camera, click on the transform, click on point of interest and position. I'll drag these keyframes right here since this is our final result. Right in the beginning, click on C to switch between the different camera control settings, or alternatively, you can manually push this Z value for the camera to go right in front of him. Put those keyframes to easy ease and this is what it looks like. I think in the beginning I don't want to be able to see this irrelevant text, so I'll go back to this pre-comp, hit P and bring it so that it's out of the frame, and now it will just start with him only and everything else comes in. To see his face in the beginning, we can still go back to this and adjust the position and scaling too. Yeah, we can move back to one view so that you can see what it's looking like. Yeah, I know we can see his feet right at this point, so we can just scale this up until 130. Finally, make sure you've enabled motion blur on the 3 layers, the ones that have text, and then you can also add a CC fast blur, a CC radial fast blur. Put these on the irrelevant text, keyframe the amount, hit U, so right before the text appears, put that keyframe here, and as it comes in sight, we can reduce the amount, maybe up to around 10. We still need some blur to stay on, and then easy is that. Copy the same effect to the other text layers, then just change the timing for up to when they appear on screen. So right about here, put these will be similar to the XXS text, they're on the same place. Finally, we can add an adjustment layer. This wasn't in the video itself, but I think it will be pretty important to add noise up to around 5, and it will give us that grainy look. And this is the easiest way to recreate this scene. If you like to experiment, you can add a tint to the solid, which is our background. Map the black to something like I'm looking for this Spotify color, this lime, and you can also reduce the amount to tint. This was just a thought that I had in mind. And that's a wrap for today. I hope I was able to explain this in the simplest manner possible. I'll have the project file for this on my Gumroad, so in case you're interested, make sure to check that out. My name is Danny James. See you guys on the next tutorial.